Good evening and welcome to Closing Arguments. I'm Michael Ayala in for Vinnie Politan. Now, I want to begin this evening with the case we've been following out of Ohio. Stanley Ford is on trial for allegedly setting fires in his neighborhood that took the lives of 9 people, including 5 children. Now, this is a death penalty case, so if convicted, Ford could be put to death. Now, Ford maintains his innocence, and his defense attorneys say that the authorities have arrested the wrong man. Now, the defense is not unlike many that we've seen here on court TV. The defense claims there's a rush to judgment, the cops focus on only one guy, don't fully investigate. There are a lot of unsavory characters who could have done it. Hey, look, it doesn't mean it's not true, but the defense certainly has a difficult task ahead of them based on the evidence, because the state describes Ford as a guy who had beef with many neighbors, and specifically the ones whose houses and cars he allegedly set on fire, and they have video. Now, today, the jury heard from the medical examiner and a fire investigator with the Ohio State Fire Marshal's Office. And Court TV's crime and justice reporter Joy Lim Akron has all of today's highlights from inside the court.
Jurors saw more images of the aftermath of that deadly fire at the home of Lindell Lewis as investigator Brian Peterman took the stand talking about his findings regarding how that blaze began.
What's the significance of that arrow, or what is it?
So it's what we identify as fire patterns, and this is an upward outward, like a V pattern, what we call it. And you can see there's more fire damage down low, and then it's working its way upward and outward. And what it's doing here is going from the porch floor level, and then as the porch roof is consumed, it's working its way up to the other portion of the roof, to the attic area of the structure. And we can see by looking at these other windows, there's no fire, smoke, or heat venting out these other windows. So it's telling us, it's an indication that the fire is outside versus inside.
A porch camera allegedly captured this footage of a suspect setting the fire which killed Lewis and his partner Gloria Hart in April of 2016. Prosecutors say the person on the camera is defendant Stanley Ford, who is charged with 29 counts stemming from 2 house fires and a car fire in 2016 and 2017. Criminalist Molly Jordan testified on Friday that she found evidence of gasoline and other accelerants on pieces of debris from Lewis's porch at 719 Fulton Street. Summit County Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Lisa Kohler identified photos of the couple's bodies in the home as she described the cause and manner of death.
And so you made a determination as to cause and manner of death for Mr. Lewis?
Yes, I did.
And what was that?
The cause of death was soot and smoke inhalation. The manner of death was homicide, and how injury occurred is breathed in smoke from an intentionally set house fire.
Were you able to make a determination as to cause and manner of death for Gloria Hart?
Yes, I did.
And what was that determination?
The cause of death for Gloria Hart was soot and smoke inhalation. The manner of death was homicide, and how injury occurred is breathed in smoke from an intentionally set house fire.
Court is dark on Monday and Tuesday for the holiday, but when court resumes on Wednesday, we expect to hear more about the other fire on Fulton Street, the one which killed a family of 7, including 5 children. Back to you.
All right, Joy Lim Akron, thank you so much for that report. Right now, I want to bring in my think tank for tonight. Joining us from New York, former senior homicide prosecutor Bernardo Villalona. Bernardo, great to see you. In Cleveland, Ohio, criminal defense attorney and law professor at Cleveland State, Ian Freeman. Same to you, Ian. And in Pasadena, California, former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Mark Davis. Thank you all for being with me tonight. Let me begin with you, Bernardo. Fairly big day for the prosecution, lots of great evidence. They had someone on video setting this fire. And, you know, folks who want to do these surreptitious crimes often forget that there's video everywhere. But there you see him on video. Now, we don't know who it is. It doesn't point directly to the defendant in terms of identification. But I want to know what your make of the prosecution's case so far.
So far, the prosecution has proven that, of course, that the fire was intentional. This wasn't an accidental fire, and that someone actually set it. But we still don't have any evidence that's been presented to the jury that the person that set this fire is the defendant, Stanley Ford, who is sitting at the defense table. Obviously, as we know now, this case is going to be so circumstantial. You don't have one witness yet that has pointed towards Stanley Ford and said, that is the guy who I saw setting this fire. So the prosecution does have an uphill battle in terms of proving that, because it's going to be very difficult for a jury to sentence someone to death when they're dealing with circumstantial evidence. But we're still too early on in the case to make a determination. But of course, this is a horrendous death. We're talking about 9 people that were killed in the 2 different fires.
Yeah, definitely a tragic situation. Some of the testimony today about how they died was very difficult to listen to. Mark Davis, what are some of the issues? Now, you're a former prosecutor. What are some of the issues or difficulties in trying an arson case like this?
Well, one, you have to determine the cause of the fire. And it seems like they've done that. They've been able to determine that it was gas related. There was an accelerant from outside the house. It went up. They have their fire experts to determine that clearly this was not an electrical fire. It was certainly something that was intentionally set. So that's first. But secondarily, and the most difficult thing, is that they have to establish who did this. And, I have my defense bend at this particular point where I look at things and I say, all right, well, how are they going to establish that it was Mr. Ford who actually committed this offense? Right now, there's that one grainy photo where you really can't know that it's him. And I presume that they're going to put forth some additional evidence that hardens the case against him. For the time being right now, I think he's in a good position because I haven't seen enough yet to really say, all right, he's in a world of hurt. I don't see that just yet.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Now, you mentioned the intentionality of the fire. What I want to do now is play some more sound from the fire investigator, Brian Peterman. And here he is talking about the damage to the porch at 719 Fultz and why he thinks the fire was intentionally set.
At this point in time, you've just started your inspection. At this point, do you notice anything that is significant to you as a fire investigator?
Yeah, so just to clarify, as I was doing my walk around, Investigator Illy was behind me photographing, and I did my visual walk around inspection.
He took the photos, but you've had an opportunity to see them, and you're indicating that
Yes.
they are accurate representations?
Yes.
Thank you.
So this shows that the fire damage, and what we're looking for when we do our exterior examination is burn patterns, intensity patterns, movement patterns, and the general damage that the fire has left behind.
All right. And in this situation, what strikes you as significant, if anything?
So in this particular photo here, the significant damage in this photo is to the front south side of the house. And this particular photo, at one time prior to the fire, this structure had a full covered porch roof covering the front porch. And you can see with this photo that front porch roof is completely consumed by the fire.
And so, porch fires, are they of some significance to you?
Well, porch fires is always a significant. I mean, they're outside burning. You always have to make a determination as where did it start from the exterior and go interior, or go from the interior to the exterior.
All right, so at this point in time, you've noted that the fire appears to be significant on the porch and had done a lot of damage to that structure. Actually, looks like it completely took the whole roof of the porch off.
Yes.
Prior to viewing that, did you then take all the information you had gathered from your investigation, and ultimately did you make an opinion as to whether this was an accidental or intentionally set fire?
Yes, I did.
All right. What was that opinion?
That it was an incendiary fire, that was an intentionally set fire.
And where would the origin have been?
The origin would have been on the front porch of the house,
Which
on
part?
the west side.
Okay. And that opinion that you're giving here today, is that within a reasonable degree of scientific certainty?
Yes.
All right, Ian Freeman, the defense thus far has done a fairly good job of showing that this particular victim, or these victims, had some issues. They had some unsavory characters around the house. They even had a couple of fires at the house. Someone actually set a fire, someone he had a beef with of some sort. We didn't hear exactly what that was about. So far, the defense, I think, has done a fairly good job of saying, hey, we don't know exactly who started these fires, but what they have to deal with is the testimony of one witness who said this was a guy who said to her that he saw himself as sort of the angel of the neighborhood, sent to protect the neighborhood. That, in conjunction with the issues, I think is pretty strong.
Michael, let me say this. We're talking about the arson right now, and I've tried a lot of arson cases. This whole first week is kind of set up at, as we're hearing, whether or not someone intentionally burned this. The defense right now, I mean, we all know they're not contesting that it was an arson, right? So this is strictly a whodunit case. And next week, when they start getting into that aspect of the case, the defense is going to capitalize on some pretty easy targets. As you said, there were some folks there, we've got two of them. One down the street who was accused previously of burning someone, another person who supposedly admitted to the crime. The Akron Police Department knew about all of this. So the defense is going to go there. As to someone talking about the character of Mr. Ford, these are experienced defense lawyers. I know them. Obviously, they're in my backyard. Joe Gorman, Scott Riley. They're going to go after motivations as to why these folks would be saying stuff negative about Mr. Ford. What the viewers need to understand, a case like this, where there is death on the table, this is a long case, and you're going to have to watch it from start to finish. This is just the very beginning of this case, and it's going to be a war, as it should be. You have 9 people who have been killed. Somebody did it, and the person sitting at the table is facing death. This is going to be a long case that we're all going to be watching for a while.
Very, very fair points, Ian. This is just setting the table, as it were. A lot more to come. Of course, we'll be bringing it to you live right here on Court TV. All right, Think Tank, stand by. We have to step aside now for a quick break.